There are many different perennials that you can grow in a cold climate, but today I want to share with you my 5 favorite edible perennials that you can grow and have a spring harvest. And stay tuned till the end. I'm going to share a 6th perennial that's not as common, but I'm really looking forward to starting this year. Let's start out by answering the question, what is a perennial? I used to get this confused all the time, perennial versus annual. My favorite way to remember it is a perennial is permanent. You plant it once and it stays there and comes back every year. Whereas an annual, you annually every year have to plant it and harvest. Perennials have many advantages. To me, it's almost like free food, a little bit of maintenance, and every year you're harvesting off of these plants. The ones I'm sharing today, you are able to harvest early. So this is helping to fill what we call the hunger gap. The hunger gap is basically the gap of time when you're not able to harvest any food out of your garden. So by growing these things, you're able to extend your harvest. They also provide really good timing in your garden because as these perennials start to slow down is when your annuals that you've just planted will be starting to come to fruition. The first perennial I want to talk about is chives. It's kind of like a herb, and there's many perennial herbs you can grow in cold climates, but chives are one of my favorites because they're always the first to pop up for me. Usually at the end of March, we have them starting to grow, and I'm eating them in from April all the way up until the summertime. It's nice, they always give me that really early harvest of some freshness out of the garden. And then come summer, once you're done harvesting them, they also produce beautiful purple flowers that help with the pollinators, and you can also eat the flowers as well. Now my second favorite edible perennial is asparagus. Maybe it's my first. I love asparagus, and fresh asparagus out of the garden is delicious. With asparagus, you can be harvesting the same patch for up to 20 years, so it's an amazing vegetable. Again, these are coming up before your last frost date, so you can get a really early harvest out of them. Asparagus can also be quite expensive in the store, so it's a really good crop to save you some money. The third perennial I want to talk about is strawberries. There's quite a bit of fruit you can grow in cold climates, but strawberries are one of my favorites because, again, you get the early harvest. With apples and most other berries, you're waiting into the later summer, fall to harvest them. But with strawberries, I am here before my last frost date. We're about 2 more weeks, and my strawberries are flowering already. I will be getting a really early harvest from those that, again, is going to offset my costs, and the taste of a homegrown strawberry is delicious. And then for our 4th thing to go with the strawberries is rhubarb. Rhubarb is a really great perennial to grow in cold climates. It's super easy to take care of. So with rhubarb, you can harvest them early to get started on your canning, making some rhubarb jelly, or even to go with the strawberries. One of my favorites is a strawberry rhubarb crisp. And I love rhubarb too because once you're done harvesting, it grows into this nice, big, full plant that can bring a lot of beauty to your garden. Now the 5th edible perennial I'm going to talk about is horseradish. You might not think of it as something you're going to go eat a whole plate of, but I wanted to add it here because it's very easy to grow. In fact, a lot of people will call it invasive. I don't like to think of anything edible as invasive. If it's just going to grow and take over, if you put it in the right spot, that's the best type of plant for me. So with little maintenance, you can be harvesting horseradish every year. A lot of people will actually harvest the root in the fall after the frost, but you are able to harvest it in the spring, as well as using the horseradish leaves. Something I've learned this year I'm going to try is because the horseradish leaves have a lot of tannins, like bay leaves and grape leaves, you can use them for your canning to make your pickles crispier. I really wanted to include horseradish as well because it's super nutritious. And sometimes we don't think about nutrition when growing things, but horseradish is super high in minerals, vitamin C, calcium, so it's a great supplement to add it to your diet. Now, as promised, the bonus perennial I want to talk about are Ostrich fern fiddleheads. These are very hardy plants, and in the spring, for the couple of weeks, you can harvest the little heads before they open up. I'm really excited to grow this plant because I love ferns, but it's really hard to find a fern that's cold hardy. A lot of them are tropical. Once you're done harvesting in the spring, you let the rest of the fiddleheads open up into their fronds, and they're big, huge plants that give you a lot of beauty in your garden as well. So there it is. Those are the perennials that I really love to grow to get that early harvest and fill that hunger gap. Let me know in the comments down below if you're going to be starting any of these perennials this year. And if you're looking for some cold hardy annuals to get started, check out this video of things that you can start before your last frost date. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.